So very good afternoon, and at present in our class are Astha Khandelwal, Abhigyan Gupta, Aditya, Ankit, Arpan, Ishpreet, Lakshya, Meghna, Naveen, Pritam Milan, Sambhav Garg, Sanya, Sarvansh Sinha, Saurabh Yadav, Shara Khan, Shreya Dharan, and Vanshika. So we will be starting our class. So tomorrow, yesterday we studied about the meetings, and I told you in general about the meetings. So in particular about the meetings, we will be able to study today itself. And one more thing, these things are given at in short, which I am discussing with you. But the elaborated things, I am sharing one PDF with you, so you can, even for the company secretary, for the directors and all this, you can actually just go through that. Okay, so that will, I think, be helpful for you to just prepare your things in a better manner. Okay, so today yesterday we have discussed about in general about the meeting. So we have discussed that there is a you can say there is a agenda of a meeting which has to happen, and there is a quorum of the meeting, and further besides this there are notices which have to be given to the members of the meeting, and guys, are you able to listen to me?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, because there is some disconnection over here and it is showing on hold. Okay, so is the screen visible to you, which
Yes,
represents the
sir.
company meetings? Okay,
Yes, sir.
fine. So I will now proceed further with that where the cursor is gone. Okay, I thought it is not fine. So there are four types of meetings, you can say. Meetings of the general body of shareholders, meetings of the directors who actually run the company, and there are certain people who just want sometimes to have a meeting, and they are called you can say the class meetings, or you can say the meeting of the debenture holders or meeting of the creditors are there. So normally the meetings of the shareholders are they are called the meetings, you can say meeting of the shareholders are the general body meetings. Okay, so general body meetings happens with the shareholders themselves. Okay, so general body meeting is there. Another meeting is the meeting of uh, the board of directors. So board of directors, they have to meet very frequently. So where shareholders meeting, only one meeting is required in a year to happen. Board of directors must at least meet once in a quarter. It is given in the act as such.
Excuse me, sir. Your home screen is showing the presentation went off.
Present. Oh, sorry. I don't know what is happening over here. Actually, there is some network issue also today. Today in the morning also I was facing similar problems. Just a moment. Are you able to see it now? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I was telling you about three types of meetings are there. One is the meeting of the body of shareholders. Another is the meeting of, you can say, the board meeting, and another is the class meeting, which happens for various types in the class of the people. So let us talk about the board meeting. So board meeting is a formal meeting of the board of directors of an organization, held usually at a defined at intervals to consider the policy issues and the major problems. So normally board, I think, should meet every now and then, just in order to run the organization. Because what happens in partnership, all the partners are the managing partners of the business, until and unless some partners are sleeping partners. Okay, until and unless it is mentioned, it is by default every partner is a normal partner, or you can say active partner in the business organization. But in case of company, the things are a bit different. If the partners and these partners in the partnership act, under the partnership act, in partnership, are called members of the company under the companies act. But these members are not privileged enough to just run the business by their own. So all the members cannot run the business of the company. So there will be few members who will be elected by the body of the shareholders to run the business, and these people, those who are elected, they must frequently meet each other in order to transact the business in order to proceed the business. So there is nothing in case of the small companies, that is the companies which are having only two directors, and they are the only shareholders. So they have to meet, both of them have to meet frequently in order to run the business. Okay, so that is the case of the company where the small, in case of small company, when where the managing partners are the members, and they are only the board of directors also. But in case of a large company, or you can say in case of a company which is which is widely held and which is a public limited company, in such a situation, the the board of directors are the people who are elected by the body of the shareholders to run the company. So in that situation, these board of directors, or you can say the shareholders, are not at all a part of the, or you can say they are not the managing partners, like in case of the partnership. So they are the people, those who elect certain people, those whom they think capable of running the company as the directors of the company. So as the name suggests, directors, so these directors give direction to the company, because company is an artificial person, and these directors are responsible for each and every act of the company. So they will give direction to the companies, and according to their direction, the company will move on further. So that is what is called, but they can take decision only when they meet. And what will be the conclusive proof of their meeting? The minutes of the meeting, which is filed to the ROC from time to time, actually tells that these board of directors are meeting. Okay, so there is a formal meeting of board of directors of an organization which is held at a definite period of time. So how frequently must the board of directors meet, or how frequently must the board meeting should be there? So all companies are required to hold a board meeting at least once in every 3 months, and there must be 4 board meeting in a year. Okay, so there has to be at least 4 board meetings in a year, and once in every 3 months, at least once in every 3 months. Okay, so how to provide the notice of the board meeting? So when how will you give? So if you have to call the meeting, you have to give the notice. So what is to be done? So notice of the board meeting of the company must be provided in writing to every director of the company. So there are no limits or modes of sending the board meeting notice as prescribed under the Companies Act 2013. So however, if the board meeting is held without giving the notice to all the directors, then the meeting will be invalid and the resolution passed in the meeting will be treated as inoperative. So it is very, very important. Yesterday also I told you that notice must be served to the people who are actually eligible to attend the meeting. Okay, so here also it is being emphasized that there has to be notice, and without notice of the meeting, meeting will not be treated as such as if any meeting has happened, and any resolution, if it is passed, will be treated null and void, and it will be inoperative. However, if all the directors of the company attend a board meeting and do not object to the absence of a board meeting notice, then the board meeting can be considered as a valid. But this will not be applicable in case of the meeting of the shareholders, right? So here, if all the directors are meeting and they are resolving that it's okay, fine, because we keep on meeting daily, so no notice is required in order to hold the meeting, and this resolution itself is sufficient for all the future meetings, that there will be no notice at all. So in case if all the directors have ratified it, then it's okay, then we cannot have. Otherwise, notice is a very, very essential part of holding a meeting, because in order to hold a meeting, first most thing is to prepare a notice and to serve the notice. Okay. Next is a quorum of a board meeting. So quorum is a minimum number of directors required at the board meeting to validate transact any business. So the quorum of a board meeting is usually 1/3 of the total strength of the director, or two directors, whichever is higher. So for example, there are 6 directors in a company. In that case, 2 directors must be there in order to hold the company. For example, there are 4 directors in a company. In that situation also, though 2 directors will constitute 50% of the board, still 2 directors will be there in order to hold the company. If there are 5 directors in a company, still 2 directors are needed in order to hold the, you can say, the meeting of the company. For example, if there are 15 directors of a company, there has to be minimum 5 directors must be present in order to hold the meeting of a company. First, legality. Then there is a provision of legality of the meeting. So, if the quorum of the board meeting is not present, the meeting cannot be held and will automatically be adjourned. So a company can define through its articles what can be, how the meeting can be adjourned, and how the adjourned meeting can happen. Next is, so this was regarding the board meeting. So board meeting, we have studied about the quorum of the board meeting and the notice of the board meeting. Remaining 2 points are the agenda of the board meeting and the minutes of the board meeting. Both are almost, the provisions of these two are almost as similar as that of the meeting of the shareholders only. Okay. Next is the AGM, which is called annual general meeting, or the meeting of the body of the shareholders. So annual general meeting is mandatorily yearly gathering of the company's interested shareholders. So AGM, as the name suggests, AGM happens annually. AGM is the meeting which must happen annually, and this is called AGM because it happens annually. So one meeting, AGM, must happen with the common body of the shareholders in a year. So at the AGM, the directors of the company present an annual report which contains the information of the shareholders about its performance and strategy. So shareholders with this voting rights vote on certain issues such as appointment of the company's board of directors, executives compensation, dividend payment, and selection of auditors. So these 4 things are the ordinary agenda. What 4 things? What 4 things are there? Appointment of board of directors, executives compensation, that is the compensation of key managerial persons, KMPs, dividend payments, and selection of the auditors. So these 4 things are normally done in every AGM. So anything which is beyond this will be the special business. So these are called the ordinary business of the company and anything else except this will be the special business of the company, right? So the holding of an AGM is a principal right of the company's shareholder. So in large companies, it is typically the only time during the during the time period which in order to resolve a problem. Okay, and most of the shareholders, most of the directors look forward towards the general meeting to get their problem resolved because they raise such issues in that meeting. So it may be called as an extraordinary meeting. For example, if in any AGM certain things are not to be discussed, or the situations were not like that, so the AGM will be called AGM. But in that case, the EGM can be called. EGM is nothing but a extraordinary general meeting, which is also a meeting of the body of shareholders. So EGM can also be called for transacting certain special businesses. For example, the company in between has decided to go with the merger. Okay, so company is deciding to go with the merger. So as it is a merger, then it has to be discussed in the EGM of the company. So extraordinary general meeting has to be called in order to discuss the merger issue and to take the opinion of the shareholders and the members of the company itself. Okay, so in that case, EGM can be called. What can be the purpose of EGM? Just a moment. Sorry. So an organization may conduct its business at an AGM, that is annual meeting. The business may include electing board of directors, these all things, right? But in case, so at this meeting, the shareholders and the partners may receive the copies of the company's accounts, fiscal information, past years, and they ask the question regarding any directors or any direction of the business. So okay, so at the annual general meeting, the president or the chairman of the organization presides over. So he is the chairman of the meeting and may give an overall status of the organization. The company secretary prepares the minutes and may be asked to read upon certain papers. So treasurer may present the financial report, or you can say the chartered accountants, and the other officers, that is the board of directors and the committee, give their reports. Suppose if there is audit committee, so audit committee will give its reports over there. Corporate governance committee will be there, they will give their reports, and their reports are being sometimes are read in the general meeting of the company, and sometimes on these reports some opinion of the shareholders is also taken. Okay, but all these things must be there in the agenda. So other officers like board of directors or committees give their reports. Attending the meetings uh, are the members, and the shareholders of the organization. They are the attenders. Okay, and depending on the type of the organization, number of people will be there, whatsoever, whosoever, right? So these are the things. So what are the mandatory agenda? So the corporate law, the corporate law that govern the company along with its memorandum and the articles of association contain the rules of governing the AGM. For example, there are provisions relating to how far in advance shareholders must be notified for of where and when the AGM will be held. So these all things are there in the memorandum itself. So memorandum or articles, actually memorandum doesn't comprise of this. The articles comprise of this, but combinedly we call it as MOA and AOA. So AOA actually comprise of that how the AGM will happen, what will be the minimum period. So normally it is 21 days, but it can be more than that also, but not less than 21 days because it is given in the act. So suppose for example, they have put a rule that there will be at least 1 month notice. So 1 month notice has to be there for holding the AGM. So in most of the jurisdictions, the following items of law must be discussed at the AGM. What are these? Minutes of the previous meeting, financial, because it's an annual general meeting will be happening only once. So previous year's meeting, what has happened during what we decided in the last meeting should again be revised. So previous minutes of the previous meeting should be, again presented for the approval, and then financial statements. The company presents its annual financial statements, and then ratification of for director's action. If director has taken any action which is beyond his powers, but not beyond the company's powers, but beyond the powers given to him. So it can be ratified. Further, there is an election of board of directors if has to happen. So these are the things which are generally done in the meeting. So anything extra if it is there, then a special resolution is to be passed in order to do the meeting, or otherwise you can go for extraordinary general meeting, which is called EGM. So all the general meeting other than the annual general meeting are called extraordinary general. When this word general meeting will come now, then you by this name itself you can understand that this is the meeting of the body of shareholder. That's why the general is coming over here. So everyone whosoever is there will be included in it. So extraordinary general meeting are held between the periods of 2 annual general meetings. So it can happen anytime in between, like EGM. Okay. So what are the businesses which EGM can have? So EGM is called for transacting some special business that cannot be postponed till next AGM. So normally why EGM is called? Because AGM happens only once in a year, but we need to take some inputs from the existing shareholder. That's why we are conducting this. Okay, so EGM, there are certain business which are to be conducted in EGM. That is any business other than the ordinary business, which is called a special business. Alteration of any clause of the memorandum, alteration of the clause of the articles of the company, constitution of board of directors. Okay, so these are the some examples. Just now I have told you, for example, you want to change the you want to revamp the board of directors, or you want to just go with the merger. Okay, so this will be the agenda of extraordinary general meeting. You have to take the consent from the shareholders. So we will call the EGM. So EGM can be called by board of directors on its own, the board on the requisition of the members. So if sometime, for example, there is very good example of this. For example, there is a what you call is operation and mismanagement going on in the company. So on the requisition of 1/10 of the shareholder, a director has to call the meeting, that is called EGM, or otherwise by requisitionist themselves they can also call. Tribunal can also be approached in order to call the meeting. For example, some debenture holder has approached the tribunal that there is a our funds are being emblazed or that is misplaced or something like that. In that case, the creditors can also approach, although you can say the debenture holders can also approach the directors, or you can directly to the tribunal to hold this meeting. Okay, so there are certain provisions regarding circular resolution. In addition of passing the resolution at the board meetings, resolutions can also be passed by circulation. So board of directors may pass any resolution by sending a draft of the resolution together with the necessary information to all the directors. So it is not every time necessary for to call a meeting. For example, one decision is to be taken, and that decision can be taken even if all the directors endorse on it. So there is no need to call a meeting as such for it. So it can happen just by the circulation. So a circular will be circulated among all the directors, and they give their consent by signing it, and the resolution can be passed in that way. Next is the class meeting. So class meetings are the meeting which are held by the holders of a particular class. So for example, preferential holders are there. Such meetings are normally called when it is proposed to vary the rights, or if there is something related to the rights of the shareholders or debtors or the creditors of the company. In such case only these class meetings are called. Okay. So at such meeting, these members discuss the pros and cons of the proposal. Why I gave you the example of this merger and acquisition? Because when merger and acquisition happens now, then every type of meeting happens. May it be your extraordinary meeting, may it be board of directors meeting, may it be class meeting. Because when merger is happening, you are changing the entire constitution of the company, because either you are going to merge with it or you are going to take over some other company. Whatever you are doing, it involves the huge funds also. There will be a strategic decision making also, and because of all these things, there will be involvement of more people in it. So all those classes, those who are getting affected by it, will be called in order to give their opinion and to look into the matter. What will be the pros and cons? What their rights get affected? To get affected? Are they being affected for good or for bad? I mean to say, are they in profit or in losses after this particular merger happens or after this particular takeover happens? Okay, so these people, the opinion of these people must also be taken, and because otherwise what will happen? They may actually bring an injunction from the court and will not allow ourselves to go for the merger and acquisition which we have planned. Okay, so the directors have to keep them in confidence. Okay, so the class meetings are held to pass the resolution which will bind only the members of the class concerned, and only the members of the class can attend and vote. So nobody else can. So if they feel it, because we have to convince them that there is something for them also, and they should not actually, unnecessarily put some problem in the ongoing process of the acquisition, or you can say a takeover of the company as such. Next is the meeting of the debenture holders. Okay, so the debenture holders of a particular class conduct these meetings. So they are generally conducted when the company wants to vary the terms of the security, or to modify their rights, or to vary the rate of interest payable. For example, the company is not able to pay the loan, or company is not able to cope with the terms and conditions of the debentures. Now the time has come for the maturity of the debenture, but the company is not having any funds. So what the company should do? Should company just to call the money from the market? And if the company will keep on calling the money from the market, what will happen? It will lose its interest in the market as such. Okay, and there will be a problem. Okay, so in that case, what happens? In that case, the first most thing which a company should do is to approach its debenture holders and request them, like, see, we do not have any money to give you now. You please allow us 1 more year, or 2 more years, or 5 more years, whatever. And in exchange of this, we will just increase the rate of interest which we are paying you, or we will be giving you some privilege, or something, anything whatsoever. So whatever that has to be discussed, that is to be discussed now. Now they have to be shown the other side of the thing also. That, see, we are not at all in position to give you anything at present, but we promise to give you in the future. And if you do not get ready with what our proposal is, then you may have to go to the court for taking it. So your money will also be stuck, and our company will also wind up. Okay, the situation will be poor in both the cases. So in such a situation, what is the amicable result? Until and unless you call a meeting of debenture holders, it cannot happen. Okay, so there is some alteration in the rate of interest also if you are doing. So any alteration, anything related to the rights, or the or whatever is to be done for the debenture holders, that has to be discussed only with them. Otherwise they may bring a suit, and there will be a problem for the existence of the company also. So rules and regulations regarding the holding of either entered in the trust deed or endorsed on the debenture bond, so that they are binding upon the holders of the debentures and upon the company also. Okay. Next is your meeting of the creditor. So strictly speaking, these are not meetings of the company. So these actually, see, meetings of the company happen when the company's shareholders or directors are involved. Then we can say it is the meeting of the company. Actually, you are just negotiating certain things, calling these people, because they have actually given you some money, and without that also we cannot survive. So that is what we are doing. That's why the meeting of creditors, meeting of debenture holders, these are the class meetings. So class meetings are not actually the company's meeting. That's why it is saying that strictly speaking, these are not the company meetings. They are held when the company proposes to make some scheme or arrangement with the creditors. So companies like individual may sometimes find it necessary to compromise or take some arrangements with their creditors. In these circumstances, a meeting of the creditor is necessary. For example, with the creditors, just want to increase the you can say the credit period. Okay, so presently the creator has given us 1 month credit period. So whatever we purchase today, after 1 month we are going to pay him. Okay, so that 1 month credit, now we want 45 days credit. Why? Because we have come up with we are having some crunch regarding the the working capital management, and it is difficult for us to pay the creators at the present condition, at the present time. In such a situation, what will happen? We are actually trying to uh, uh, bring the we are just adjusting ourselves with the creators in order to come up with certain, you can say, the options which they can give us. So that can happen only if the creditors will be called. Okay, so creditors are normally the unsecured ones, but still, because they are also the equal stakeholders of the company, they are also called in order to just decide upon certain things for the meeting, for the decisions in which they are also involved in. So this is about the meetings all over. Okay. So any question regarding the meetings, if you want to ask? I'm going to upload this presentation today. Along with this, I am also uploading one chapter which comprise of some important, you can say, in-depth things regarding the agenda and you can say the minutes also and all that. Okay, so let me just show you these things over here also, so that you will be able to know that what I'm going to do with you people. Okay, or what are the material and how it will be helpful for all of you. Yeah. Okay, it's not showing. So some more courses remaining. So this week also we are having 4 classes. You know this? This week also we will have 4 classes. Thursday also the class is scheduled. You have got that timetable, means the email also. Shreya?
Yes, sir.
Shreya?
Yes.
Confirm it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So all the
Yes,
class,
sir.
please be informed regarding this also. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is opening. I'm just showing it to you. Some material I want to give you for your self study. Opening in Word. Yeah. So some practice questions are also given in this. You can attempt those also. If you want, I can give you the company law first also along with this. So here we go. Yeah. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So these are the things which are covered. So board of directors, minimum maximum number of directors, directorship, women director, independent. These all we have studied. Okay, directors elected by small shareholders not so important. Appointment of directors, duties of directors, power of board. These ये सब हम पढ़ चुके हैं. Now from here, the role of company secretary and all. Please just see it once, though I have already told you in the class. Now here the meetings are right. So AGM is over here. Okay. So notice through electronic mode and all these all are just one reading. It will be all done. And besides, board meetings are here. Okay. So please go through this. This is a good document which will provide you very good information. And there are some objective types also given at the end. Okay, so that can also be there. You can just have a look of those. And one more chapter is there. I thought I should give you this also. This also comprises of good things. Okay, I've used this only in order to teach you further. So this is regarding company law. So in nutshell, you will be having these. These are the modules of ICSI, Institute of Company Secretaries of India. So nothing more authentic can be there in the law except these. So both the chapters I will send you. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Fine. So what else now? Any question you would like to ask or anything you would like to say or any doubt you have? Come on.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, in the presentation of class meeting and meeting of debenture holders, sir, it was mentioned that both meetings are held by holders of particular class. So, what is the meaning of particular class?
Class means, for example, uh, debentures. That is a class itself. Creditors, that is a class itself. That's why it is called class meeting. So I told you that these are not company meetings. So mostly companies' affairs are not at all related to them. So that's why it is not company meeting. We are conducting this meeting in order to have some negotiation with them and in order to take them also in confidence. That's why it is called class meeting as such. Okay, Sarvanch?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone, anything else? Aditya? Naveen Chandlani? Yes, Aditya. Anything you want to ask?
No, sir, nothing.
Yeah. So guys, we are approaching towards means only small topics are there. You would like to just see what is remaining. I can show it to you now. We have 3, 4, 5 minutes. Yeah. I hope by the time it is open. Still opening what? It's open over here. It's showing still opening. problem has it? I don't know what. Anyways, let me just open this list for you. Okay, so here we are now. Up till here we have done all. Okay. And tomorrow we will be doing something like regarding the secretarial practice for this agenda, how to keep the agenda out, quorum and resolutions, notices, minutes, and director's report. Okay, so we will be doing this, and then we will be talking about the shareholders meeting, though we have already talked about shareholders meeting today. The quorum of shareholders meeting also we talked about that. Okay. And then there are small topics like associate company, free reserves, net worth. These all things are there. These are small definitions which do not need such a big elaboration in the syllabus itself. So if I will start completing it, you can say in 3-4 days, one more week, we'll be able to finish off with your syllabus. Okay. Then we will go for with some good revision classes and then we proceed towards the end of the course. Would that be okay?
Yes,
Fine.
sir.
Fine then, guys. Let me just take the attendance. Yes. So Asta Khandelwal, Abhigyan Gupta. Just say yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Aditya,
Yes,
Ankit,
Yes, sir.
Anshul Goswami,
Yes, sir.
Arpan Mishra, Ashutosh Maharshi,
Yes, sir.
Walia,
Present,
Jamima,
sir.
Ishpreet Janvi, Karan Agarwal, Kaushal
Yes,
Agarwal,
sir.
Mika Dhuria, Naveen
Yes, sir.
Chandlani,
Yes, sir.
Ishpreet, yeah, Naveen Chandlani.
Yes, sir.
Meghna has written something. I will just see it afterwards. Naveen Chandlani, Navya Singh, Neha Singh Rathod, Pritam Milan,
Present, sir.
Saurabh Garg, Sanyam Kanwar, Sarvan Sinha,
Present, sir.
Saurabh Chauhan, Shahid, Saurabh Yadav, Shara Khan, Shreya,
Present, sir.
Shubham,
Present,
Tarun,
sir.
Tushar, Vanshika, and Yash Chaudhary. किसी
Yes,
का रह तो नहीं गया?
sir.
Present.
किसी का रह तो नहीं गया नाम? Okay. Fine then, guys. Okay. Thank you, all of you.